Good morning, all of my hungry Kidstown friends. How do I know that you're hungry? Well, because no matter when you might be watching this video, you're probably thinking of when your next meal is going to be, and you might be thinking what you want. So if lunch is next, you might be thinking, I think I would love a nice, juicy roast beef sandwich. And in your mind, this is how you're picturing it. So you order it from a takeout, and when you go to pick it up and you open it and, oh, it's not really what you thought, was it? Doesn't look very appetizing. Or maybe you don't like roast beef. Maybe you're thinking of a nice, crunchy or soft taco, and you've seen the ads for it, and this is what you're thinking of. Ta-da! It looks lovely. And you put the order in, and you take it out of the wrapper, then it's, kind of a little burned and crunchier than I like. Or maybe you love Big Macs, and you've seen the commercials, and they're nice and tall, and they're two-all beef patty, special sauce, lettuce. Well, you get the idea. They look perfect, right? So you take it out, and you unwrap it, and it's not looking so good, but you're hungry, so you eat it, but whatever. All right, so we have an idea in our head of what this food should look like, but in reality, it doesn't always look like that. Well, back in Jesus' day, people had some similar problems with the teachings of the Old Testament. They thought the teachings meant one thing, when in reality they kind of meant something different. And Jesus needed to correct their thoughts. So remember, right before this, Jesus was teaching the people about an unprecedented way of living and blessings, and then living as salt and light around with the people around them. So the people might have started thinking, well, maybe Jesus is going to do away with the Old Testament. But that is not what he was saying at all. Listen to what he says in Matthew chapter 5, verse 17. He says, "Do not think I have come to get rid of what is written in the law or the prophets. I have not come to do this. Instead, I have come to fulfill what is written." And not only that, Jesus really got their heads spinning by saying this in verse 20. "Here is what I tell you. You must be more godly than the Pharisees and the teachers of the law." What? These were like the teachers of the teachers. Not only was it hard enough to try and keep the law, but now they had to be more godly than the teachers of the law. How are they going to do this? How are we going to do this? Well, here's the truth. Godly means that you follow Jesus because you love him for what he did for you. He took the punishment we deserved for the wrong things we had done. We will not be able to keep the law perfectly, but we will be forgiven when we mess up. And then Jesus went on to say that following the law is more than what you think it is. The people thought that all you had to do was just outwardly obey it. But Jesus said it's much more than that. It's understanding the real meaning of the law. For example, maybe some of you guys have gone on road trips with your family, and then if you have brothers or sisters, you might have to sit in the back seat with them. Well, that's what I had to do. I have 3 brothers and a sister, and I always was sitting next to 1 or 2 of them. And it would always happen, we're going along, and probably one of my brothers would start touching me and poking me, and I'd tell him to stop, and he wouldn't. So I'd say, "Dad, Michael's touching me." And he'd go, "Michael, stop touching your sister." So what would he do? He would take his finger, and he would get it as close to me as he could without actually touching me. So was he breaking the law? Well, in his mind, he wasn't. But he really didn't get the intent of it. The intent was for him to stop annoying me. So he was outwardly obeying, but not really keeping the rule like my father wanted. So back to the Old Testament law. Jesus tells us in verse 21, "Do not commit murder. Anyone who murders will be judged for it." Now, we know what murder means, right? And you might be thinking, "Miss Charlene, I've never murdered anyone, so I don't have to worry about that command." Well, hold on there, partner, because in verse 22, Jesus says that even if you have called someone a name because you're angry with them, it's like you're murdering them. Well, you know what? That's true, because you know the saying, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me." You know that's not really true, right? Our feelings can get very, very hurt by somebody's words. Jesus is saying to watch what you say, because your words matter. Now in verses 27 to 30, he's talking about keeping the promises that you've made to your husband or wife. I'm pretty sure that none of you are married, right? Yeah, but you can still learn something from this because his point is that your thoughts also matter. Even if you don't say wrong things aloud, they're wrong even if you think them. Oh, wow, this sounds really hard, right? I mean, I don't know about you, but my brain's kind of hurting. In fact, I think it's going to explode. Whew, that's a lot of information. But here's the bottom line. Do you love and follow Jesus? Have you asked him to help you turn away from wrong living and to help you live for him? Then that's what matters most. Ask Jesus to help you have right thoughts and right words. Then you will be on your way to following the law the way God intended. Now this talk about food has made me hungry. I think I'll start with a peep appetizer.